Well, hey guys, welcome to the channel. Welcome to my stream and another series. This series is working on this guy here. That's going to be the 2021 Ford Bronco by AMT. We're going to run the intro. We'll get into it. Okay guys, we're back and we're going to start building this kit. So, I have the kit right here. It is a licensed Ford product. And yeah, we're going to open up this kit. We're going to go through the sprues and see what we got in this thing. And we're going to start building. Alright, I'll change the camera so you can see the sprues and all kinds of detail and all that stuff. Let's see what's in this kit, okay? Alrighty, so let's open this up. First of all, we have instructions. That's good. It's funny they call it the 2021 Ford Bronco First Edition. That's interesting. Okay, so that's that. We've got our instructions. Doesn't look like it's going to be too complicated of a build. It's not much of a book. It's just all this stuff there. Fun, fun, fun. Yes. Okay. There's that. All right. Next, we have a bag of tires, rubber tires, of course. Gotta have those. That's fun stuff. Let's put those aside. We've got a little sprue of chrome parts. Let's open this bag up here. As you can tell, you guys watch my channel, you know I usually have the bags already opened in these kits when I open them up. And not in this case. I haven't even opened the bags in this. So, it looks like a couple of lights and mirrors, and that's about it. So I guess that's it for chrome on this kit. Lights and mirrors. Oh, we have a windshield where they've already put the surround for you. They've already colored the surround. That is pretty cool. I've never seen that in a kit before. That's cool, so I don't have to bother painting around that. So that should make that really easy. I'm going to leave this in the bag so that it's protected and doesn't get scratched. Looks like we've got another bag of parts here, more clear parts. We've got tinted windows, and we've got door windows, headlights, and tail lights, of course, in the red. So again, I'll leave these in the bags just to keep the clear parts nice and protected, and we'll leave them off to the side. So that's that. All right. Okay, we have a hood. We have a hood on a sprue all by itself. And then we have a body. We've got the body here. We have no roof, so this looks like we're gonna have an option of having the roof removable. Decent detail. I can't say, you know, it's a modern kit, right? So it's got some pretty good detail. Hopefully it fits together like a modern kit. That will be nice. I think that's a nice place for them to put their stamping in there. So this was made in 2023, even though it's a 2021 model. 2023 round two, made in China. Yes. Okay. Sprue number 1. We got our grill and our bumpers. Looks like a skid plate. Again, the molding is really nice and crisp. I'll give it that. Looks pretty good. Grill looks good. The grill detail is nice. If my camera will focus, it can decide what it wants to focus on. Okay, that's that. Next sprue. Next sprue looks like a transfer case, and I don't know what that is. I don't know what this is either. Looks like we got a fuel tank, a muffler, other part of the transfer case. And this could maybe be an oil pan, I'm not sure. It's textured. You can hear that? Yeah. Not much else to say about this sprue, but that's it. And then we have this one. We've got our undercarriage. This is interesting. Where does the engine go? I'm guessing this kit is designed to be one of what they call a curbside kit, where you have no actual engine in it. If there's no engine, why do they bother giving me a hood? Why do I have a hood if there's no engine? That's interesting. Pair of seats, some kind of a bar. These things, I don't know. We got a gas and a clutch pedal, or maybe it's just a gas and a brake. That's what it looks like anyway. And a couple of mirrors. There's our side view mirrors. Okay, enough. So no engine? Does that mean there's no engine? I don't know. Okay, it looks like we got possibly interior panels, our fender covers, and what else we got? That's all I can tell. I think these are those little hook things that go on the outside, either side of the hood, I think, is my guess. And these are maybe tow hooks. Driving a Ford, you need tow hooks, right? Yeah, shut up. Here we have our frame assembly. Front suspension, I guess. Lower suspension, could be upper. Maybe that's our engine. Maybe that's our engine right there, guys. That might be our engine. I really don't know. And this could be the transmission. More seat stuff. Okay. Here's our roof. Here's our roof that goes on the top. Let's see how this looks. Doink. She's gonna go like that. And that's kind of cool. You can see the roll bar in the back there through there. Neat little detail. That's cool. That looks good. Fits perfectly. No complaints there. Bingo. Okay. That's that. What else? We have a sprue of wheels. Bing. Okay. And here we have, okay, here's our dashboard. Looks like a rear end. Center console. Looks like exhaust pipe. A couple of I don't knows. And maybe suspension pieces. Disc brakes. Windshield wipers. That's cool. We got windshield wipers on this kit. Separate. And one final sprue is what looks like a floor pan. Looks like maybe the grill, where the grill goes. And I don't know what these are. Steering wheel, obviously. Maybe there's our front differential. And I don't know, could be a firewall of some sort. I really don't know. Maybe another interior panel. Again, I don't know. I haven't even looked at the instructions. For all I know, these are armrests on the doors. I really don't know. I'm doing a lot of I don't knows today. That's for sure. And then one last thing. In the kit, in the box, we have our decal sheet. And so we have a replacement. It says replace 1, 2, 3, and 4 with this. So I guess it's just the striping or whatever if you want to have a striping kit. We've got our decals for our instrument panel and console, Ford emblems, all these little Bronco emblems all over the place. So yeah, that's it. So, throw that out. That is what's in the kit, guys. So, let's take all of this, move it over here. Okay, so what's the plan? Well, the plan is to build it, obviously. That's what the plan is. Why even ask me such a silly question? You might be asking, well, what then? Okay, smart ass, what is the color? Are you going to paint it like the box there? Are you going to paint it red? No, I'm not. We're going with a Ford color, and I'm going to go grab the color. I'll be right back. This is the color that I'm going to be painting it. And you go, what? A white bag? That's the color? It's already painted white. Shut up and just watch. I've got some paints here. in the bag. Okay, I have them labeled just so I know. These are the same color. I'm just going to go one of one and one of two, like that. Okay, so what are these? This is Ford Cyber Orange, and that's the color that this thing's going to be. This is actually comes in two parts. Okay, so what it is this is by Pro Scale Paints, by the way. I have used them before. These come straight. You shake these up and you can airbrush them straight out of the bottles. You don't have to put any thinner in them at all. They do have, the pigment does have a tendency to settle at the bottom, so you do have to shake them up quite a bit when you get these, okay? Anyway, this particular color, to get it to match the Ford's actual Cyber Orange in real life, we have a tint that goes on it as well. Ford Cyber Orange Tint Coat. That's what this second one is all about. So, that is the plan. And the reason why do I have two of them? Well, just in case I screw up and I need more paint. That's why I bought it. Because this isn't stuff that I can just run down to my local hobby store and buy. And so, I need to have lots on hand for, for just in case. That's the whole point of that. So, I'm just going to put those back over there. Let's have a look at the instruction booklet. Since this truck does not have an engine, usually in car builds, the first thing you build is the engine. But this thing ain't got no engine in it. So, they're assuming you're just going to build it curbside and never have any engine detail. So, let's have a look. Let's start building this thing and see what we got going on here, okay? I'm going to change my glasses real quickly. Boop-a-da-boop-a-doo. Yes. Alright. Move that stuff out of the way. Okay. So step number one appears to be our center console. Okay. So we need to find those. I'm going to need my tweezers and my knife. And I'm going to just do this so it sits on my desk a little nicer. So let's find the sprue that has these parts. Center console number 44. How's our... See, one thing they don't do is they don't mark these very well. So there it is. It's pretty obvious which part is the center console. Now, I did want to point out, AMT does make another Bronco kit. Just before we get started, I did want to mention, we're building this Bronco right there, but AMT does make another Bronco kit. That is basically the same kit. Okay, this one is a 2023 Outer Banks Bronco. Okay, so you can tell right there, the grille is different, the bumper's different, the wheels are different. Other than those few little things, it's basically the same kit. It's just like the exact same mold, changed a little bit different things. You'll notice that the grille is different in this kit, obviously. The bumper doesn't have the things for the bush bar like this one does, right? So, and that's it. And the rims are different. You get a little bit different decals in it. As you can see here, they're a little bit different here. The stripe going down the side, you get these ones here, okay? That's really the only difference. Other than that, it's the same kit. So the one I'm building right there, that guy, that is his number. The number on that kit, where did I put the lid? Where did I put the lid? There it is. So the number on it is 1343M. M is in Mary, okay? 1343M, okay? The one of this green one, the number on this one, is 1345M, okay? I'll show you. Right, where are we here? There, okay? 1345M, okay? So that's the difference. I just wanted to point that out. There's two different kits that AMT has decided to make. I'm building this one, okay? So anyway, we got that part off. I need number 43. Is that on here? It's a little bit hard to see these numbers. It's all molded in white. So we got 44, but I'm not seeing 43 on this sprue, or 45, or 42, or really anything else in the 40s. They really jump around. That's one thing I hate about AMT kits. You look at a sprue, I got one number in the 40s, then there I got 70s, I got 36, 45, 40, like, hey, I need 45. I need 45. But just their numbering systems on the sprues are just so random, and I hate that. I hate that. At least if you're going to jump numbers around, at least like put letters on your sprues so you can say it's A42, B45, whatever. Here's 43. This is the rear panel of our console. And then 42 looks like this guy here. This is our actual armrest of the console. And then, I don't know what this thing is. IC. Yeah, what do you see? Well, nothing, because I don't know what IC means. This is also IC. And this is IC. So what is that? IC. IC. What does IC mean? And there's no number to this piece, but yet it goes right there. Okay, well, so I guess I just gotta fish around and look for a piece that looks like that. Sorry, I'm gonna change the camera here so you can tell what my problem is. This part right here, this guy here, he's got no number. This is 45 is your gear selector, but this here, whatever that is that goes right there on the console, what is that? There's no number to it. So I just have to look around in the kit for something that resembles that. At least it's not a Gundam kit. I'm not going to be searching through 40 different sprues. But of course, at the same time, I don't see anything that resembles that part. I see nothing that resembles that. Is it maybe, I don't think it's clear. Nope. It would be nice if I knew what that was. No. This guy maybe, number 41. I believe it's number 41. Yes, it's number 41. They don't mention it, they don't write it in there, but it is number 41. There we go. Better get windshield out of the way here. Chrome part's out of the way. Okay, so just like everything else that I build, I'm gonna tell you, you have to clean up your nubs, otherwise parts won't fit together properly. It also won't look very nice if you've got nubs sticking out everywhere. That's a nice feature. I just noticed these guys had this, even though it's not really necessary, had this undergated. So where it was attached on the sprue was actually on the underside here, where you're not going to see any nub marks. Got a bit of a seam line here. I want to kind of file down a little bit there. This is all basically going to be flat black. These are, you know, interior black. It's these things, you know, modern car, everything's black in your interiors, right? And yeah, so I'm basically going to paint the whole thing in Mr. Surfacer 1500 black, and then as my primer, my base coat for it all, except for the body, of course. The body's not going to get primered black. That would be a mistake. Okay, so this guy goes on like this, and he's going to go in like this. It'll be our little armrest. So let's get some glue. Down there. Put those pegs in. There we go. And just a little more, just to make sure. There we go. So our armrest is on our center console. We have the rear panel piece. These small pieces are a little challenge to get the nubs off of with my big shaky fingers. Okay, so this goes on the back. A big slot tab just goes in like that. So I'll put some glue in there and on these sides. Okay, so we got the back of our console in, just like that. And we have our shifter knob. Let's just clean up our nub on him a little bit here. And he's going to go in his little D hole. Yes, he's got a D hole. Just like that. And then finally this mystery numbered piece, which we already know is 41. 41, not because the instructions told us, but through the process of elimination and looking at the only piece that resembles what the picture is. I don't even know what this thing is. Is this some kind of a grab handle? I haven't seen. I'm guessing it's a grab handle. That's interesting. It's interesting that they have a little grab bar right there. I assume for the passenger. Why is my camera hunting for focus? There. Okay, there you go. So there's our center console. That is step number 1 done, except they wanted decals to put on there, but I haven't even painted it, so we're not doing decals on that. We're just going to put this aside now, and we're going to look at step number 2, which is our seats. So let's grab our seats. So we have seats on 2 different sprues. So we want, what have I got here? 37 and 38. That's these 2 here. These, again, they're undergated, so where it's actually connected is on this edge here. You guys see that? How it's connected on the edge there instead of the front. So if I clip it with my nippers like this, you guys see how I'm clipping it there? If I clip this off, okay, like this, like that, and then show you. I've got a nub there. See the little nub sticking down there? Yeah, so you got to trim that off because it's actually connected on this edge, on the bottom edge, not on the front. A lot of times, especially in older kits, they have them connected on the front there, and you wind up having to clean up the front edge. Not on this one. On this one, we're going to clean up the bottom edge, just like that. Done. Not that you can see the bottom edge, but again, that's why they did it, because you don't see this edge ever, and that's why they put that there. It's nice they got an ejector pin mark on the very bottom of the seat and not up here, so that's cool. But we got to put our seat backs on and stuff like that. So let's grab our other one. So we need 39 and 40, which are which ones? Here's 39 and 40 right here. 39 and 40, like so. And we're going to need 46 and 47. I might as well get these all off of here too. And if we need these, so I might as well get them ready. There we go. Okay. I guess, you know, I was wondering, what's IC mean? What does IC? Well, I guess I didn't even look at the instructions. I guess I'm assuming IC is the color you're supposed to paint them. Okay, so these guys are just going to sit in there like that. And we'll call that done. There's a little bit of a gap going around here. I'm going to want to put some putty in that. I just want to make sure we don't have lefts and rights here. And it does not appear so either side will work on either side, so I'm happy about that. What I'm not happy about is this parting line going across here like that. I don't like that at all. So I want to file that down a little bit and sand it. Smooth that out. I'm pretty sure there's no parting seam on the real thing. So let's just sand that down a little bit, smooth that out. Same on this side. I don't mind if there's a little bit of a parting line, because it's going to be black, it's not really going to be super noticeable, but I don't want it like total, like obvious there's a huge parting line there. And that follows up all the way to this little shoulder area too. So I want to kind of clean that up. I don't mind a hint of it, I just don't want it obvious. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? That looks a little bit better to me. Okay, let's get this in a seat here. Let's put some glue on there. All right. That for a sec. I'd like to hold this in a little bit more. Let's see if I can get a little clip on there and have that hold. By putting the clip on the headrest, the body of the seat wants to pop out. So I'm just going to hold it like that for a few minutes while that one dries. And then we're going to take care of our seam on this one. It's a little more pronounced on this side, on this particular one. So I want to clean that up. Okay, sand it down. There we go. Okay. Let's do the same thing with this. I'm going to grab a clip right away since I already know I need one. I thought I had two small ones. Where's my second one that's small? Maybe I won't need it. Maybe I won't need it. Maybe this one is going to hold now. Yep, good enough. I'll just use it on this one. Okay, glue. There we go. Let that do its work. Okay, so that's those seats. Now we're going to do the back ones. Again, gotta clip this off. Now, if you don't clean that up, it's probably going to bite you in the butt later. You gotta clean your nubs. Especially on exposed parts. I do like that they've done enough detail that you've got like the little hooks for stuff, for things and stuff, and that it's actually visible in there. That's a nice. I like the detail, guys. I like the detail. There's no extremely visible parting lines on these cushions, so that's good. I am kind of anticipating a fairly straightforward build. I do have a bit of flashing on this one I need to clean off. To fit down into that, like so. Without interfering. This is a tight fit. I don't even need glue, and it's really tight in there. It's tight like a tiger, almost too tight. Almost like I've got some work to do here and clean this up. Or I'm putting it on the wrong side. And that's possible. These could be lefts and rights and I don't even notice it. But that seems to fit good now. So let's put some glue on it. Just for added measure. Okay, there we go. Now this guy, he fits good. No extra work needed. And a little bit of glue on the bottom and call him done. There we go. So there's our back seat. Back seat is done. Wow, 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 wow. I don't know why my camera is doing that today. It's being really stupid and weird. This is now done. Nice and glued and cured. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add some putty. Use the Vallejo putty. I just want to go around this little seam that's in the back here. I don't know if you can see that little seam that's going all the way around there. I want to kind of try and hide that. I want it to look more like it's one piece. So if I can kind of hide that seam a little bit, I want to try. I want to try. Now this Vallejo putty, I love using it for places where I want to preserve like a panel line or something like that, because when it dries it shrinks, and this didn't glue very good there, but that's okay. When it shrinks, it'll shrink back into the seam. I don't really want to do that with this. I want to try and leave it out and not have it seep back into. So I might have to apply it a couple of times here to build it up. Okay, so anyway, there's our seats now. Put these aside. We can go to step 3, which looks like we're doing our dashboard with our steering wheel and our steering column. And then of course we have decals that they want us to put on. So maybe what might be a good idea is maybe glue the steering column in and leave the steering wheel off for now so that I can paint it all. Let's find our steering column. Here's our dashboard. A lot of times you just got to find the parts just by looking at them. You just got to look at it. Would you look at it? Number 36 is our column. That's this guy right here. It's already broken off on one little spot. There we go. And then of course we have our steering wheel, which would go on there, but we're going to wait with the steering wheel, okay? Steering wheel's going to wait till later. For now, we're just going to put our column on. It's impressive that they actually have the signal arm on there. So far, just, I am pretty impressed with the amount of detail they've included in this kit. Things that you don't see in a lot of other kits, especially in their older kits, right? Kits made from the 70s, 80s, even 90s, even early 2000s. So we've got two little holes that got to go in there and line up. And yeah, she just drops in like that. So we'll put some glue there, right along in here. Capillary action is going to be our friend with this guy. And he just goes in like that. So this is going to be basically all black later on, and then decals going in on there. They've got decals that goes right across the dash. and everything. So, and they're saying to sand it smooth before applying the decal. Like, why? It's as smooth as it's going to be right now. I have other techniques other than sanding the part to get decals on. So let's flip this and see. Step number 4. I'm getting the most done on a kit on day 1 than I've ever done. Step number 4 is assembling what looks like our transmission and transfer case. I don't know if I've got any parts on this already. It doesn't look like it, so let's find some other sprues. Looks like 63, 64, that's these two. This looks like our transmission halves. Okay, and then we need 65, which of course is not on this sprue. Looks like this one. Is this 65? It's hard to see the numbers. The numbers are so faint on here. Yes, that is 65. And then we need 66 and 67, which is going to be this guy and this guy. All right. Get rid of that knob. And let's do some part cleanup here. Again, undergated. Kind of pointless on this piece to undergate it, but they did. So let's see how well this holds up. This lines up. It's not bad, but I gotta do some nub cleanup, otherwise it won't go together. It's important to clean your nubs, guys. Okay. And our guide pins help with this. They actually go together very nicely. Let's flip that over. Some glue on this side. This lines up pretty good. Got no complaints about the alignment on that. Okay. And then this guy is going to go onto this part, but we got to clean him up. Again, nub cleanup, very important. And so that's going to line up like this. Is that correct? Yeah, looks like it. With that hanging right off the edge like that. They show it in this picture too, so that is correct. I have it correct. That's one heck of an oil pan on this transmission. Okay, there we go. And finally we have our transfer case. So I was just about to prepare to trim this little thing off the side here where I'm pointing with my nipper. Don't trim that off. You can see it in the picture, it's supposed to be there. I'm guessing it's an alignment guide. So there's our transmission housing, or sorry, transfer case, going like this. And then our big flat tab has to go into the front of our transmission, and it goes in with the pan facing up, this like this, goes like this, and doesn't fit. She's tight. So I'm going to put some glue on it. Glue, of course, acts like a lubricant in a lot of ways. Softens the plastic and helps out quite a bit. This is a tight fit though. There we go. So she's in. There's our transmission and our what you call it, transfer case. Transmission and transfer case. Okay. If I can just convince it to focus for 10 seconds, you know? Okay. So, you got our interior floor pan. Let's grab these. We're going to put these together, and then we're going to call it a day. I'm not going to put the transmission in there yet, but I can put the floor pan in and the frame on. I can do that much. So, we can get the frame. Here's our main frame. Let's get in our floor pan with the biggest nubs ever. And then we need this piece here, number 61. And then this piece here, 77, which is what I thought this was something to do with the grill, but I guess not. I was wrong. You know, I don't own a Bronco, so I'm not sure. I don't have any Broncos in my life, so I don't know what all these parts are supposed to look like. This thing had some nubs, needs some cleaning here. Undergating of so many different pieces that don't need to be undergated. I think AMT went a little overboard on it. They went overboard on the undergate. But this thing's just got some crazy nubs. Crazy huge nubs on this. Like, I'm pretty sure it would have held on to the sprue. Just fine if you didn't make the nubs quite so huge. Just file these down smooth. Otherwise, it just won't fit proper. Because this is basically all going to be one color, so that's why I'll put it together and then paint it all. Paint it all as one piece. And finally get to this edge. Okay, so those done, that's done. One left, got to do the frame. Make sure its nubs are good. It's kind of nice, you know, full frame cars are such a rare thing today. Even in trucks, well, maybe not trucks, but even SUVs and stuff like that, a lot of them don't have a full frame. Especially the Asian brands, they just don't bother because they don't need it. rely on all this structural engineering. Okay, so we have our floor pan here, our interior floor. This thing has to go down. I've got one peg bigger than the other, so that's going to help guide us which way this is supposed to go. She's going to go like that. So I'll put some glue on the actual pegs like this from this side, and then run a bead along here. Just like that. Okay, so that's obviously part of our front suspension. Okay, then it looks like we're going to have our lower pan go down. These pegs are going to line up with these holes. It sits sits flat, sort of sits flat. Sort of flat, sort of not. It's interesting, we've actually got like a little gap in here. There's a gap there. I guess that's where the drive shaft goes. I didn't even notice. Does this kit even have a drive shaft? Oh yeah, it does. It's connected to the rear end already. It's connected to the rear axle. Okay, so there's that. And then we have our frame. Frame goes in. Just kind of dropped in just exactly where it needs to be. That's nice. Should sit like that. It's kind of snapped in almost. Just like that. You know, because I can see some gaps between the frame and the floor, I think I want to paint. I'm going to hit the floor with a shot of Mr. Surfacer 1500 Black. I think I've got some in a can. I've got a little bit left in this can. That should be enough just to do this floor here before I glue that together. Let me see. I think that should do it. So my floor is nice and black now. So even while the paint's wet, I'm going to still see if I can test fit this. There we go. Yeah, see, now I don't have to worry about trying to get underneath the frame to paint, to get in the floorboard. So yeah, so I'm glad I did that first. I still have to go over the frame, and that'll happen, right? But I wanted to get that done first. So let's add some glue. Spots where I know it's connecting to the frame. There's actually quite a few. There's a lot of contact points all around this thing, which is nice. Even here. Okay, so there is that. Okay, so I think I need to do a bunch of priming on this thing. Okay, so I'm gonna have to spend excuse me, I'm gonna have to spend a good, half an hour to an hour just hitting this kit with a bunch of primer. A lot of this I can do in the 1500 black. I can use this stuff here. I'm going to use the airbrush rather than the can. That can's almost empty anyway. So I've got 1500 black in a jar, so I can do that with the airbrush. For the body, I don't want to primer it in black though, because when we're painting it orange, if I paint it with black primer, it's going to take a lot to get that orange to come out and be bright. So I'm going to paint it with white primer. Yes, that's what I'll do the body in. I'll do the body in white primer. Now that I know that there is no engine, I might just glue the hood down. I think that's probably going to be the best thing to do, is just to glue the hood down, and then I'll paint it all as one, right? But I know there's a couple of bits that go onto the hood, like they go the little channels in here and in here, so that's obviously going to be like something in a later step, right? So that's where we're going to leave it for today, guys. So I want to thank you for watching, and thank you for joining me onto this little journey. Even though this kit doesn't look like it's going to be that much of a journey, it looks like it's going to be a pretty straightforward build. As you've seen in this first episode here, where I already got the center console done, my seats are all assembled, transmission and transfer case are assembled. That's already done. So it's really just a bunch of painting, and that's really, it's going to take most of the time, I think, is the painting of this kit. Anyway, guys, I want to thank you for joining me on this. Thank you for the support, and I invite you to leave a comment down below if you feel like it, and let me know what you think. If you've built this already, if you know what this kit's like, maybe you customized it, maybe you put your own engine in it. That would be cool too. Yeah, I'd love to hear about it. I'd love to see. Don't forget to hit the like button. Hit that like button down below, and subscribe if you haven't already. I'd really appreciate that too. I want to thank you guys again, and we'll see you all in the next one.